Welcome back. This is the Weekend Report. I'm Masechaba Mposwa. As popular show Adulting streams its finale from today, actor Nhlanhla Kunene, who plays the character of quick, street smart young man who faces his fumbles head-on, Kunene now presents an ode through a masterclass on character play, on positive masculinity and channeling childhood memories. Now, the masterclass titled If Boys Don't Cry, which focuses on portraying men with authenticity, with vulnerability and complexity. Take a look at this.
We wear masks as people to shield ourselves from the others. Hi, my name is Nhlanhla Kunene. Welcome to my masterclass. Now, if boys don't cry. In this masterclass, you'll learn the responsibility of portraying a character with truth, understanding your character, multidimensionality of the character, understanding your truth, and fighting all these stereotypes around men.
He joins us now to tell us more about his work and the masterclass. Of course, Nhlanhla, good morning. Welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Morning. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, why is this so important to you?
Hey, first question. It's very important to give people in the process of taking on a character. It's not just lights, camera, and action. It's the responsibility behind it is a lot. So it's important for people to understand how far you need to go as an actor, how far you need to go as a performer to tell stories truthfully. Yeah.
Tell us more about this responsibility. What is that responsibility for you as an actor?
So, research first things first, right? And you're responsible for whatever that happens after the show. So it's not just a character on pen and paper. It's a character that was written and you breathe life into that character. So when you do your research, after research, you apply, after applying, you be that character. But what comes with that after, you're responsible for it. Because you've been through the process of telling the story and living the character. So it's important to understand what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how you go about it. So whatever happens after, you're responsible for it. The response from people, if people hate you, if people like you, you are responsible because you put in an effort into it. Yeah.
No one would know more than this than you, because you have portrayed these very rough characters on television. How do you separate yourself from these men that you portray?
It's important knowing yourself first before any job, rather. Be it acting, be it security, be it whatever. It's important knowing yourself, knowing your values and boundaries. And when you take on a character, coming back to acting, you're able to separate, because these men are spiritual in a sense, because it's characters that you need to breathe life to. So, I mean, I'm just a church guy, traditional guy. I know the rough edges of Ilogishi, but I'm more tuned with my KZN side. So it's how I differentiate myself from the work. So after the shoot, after the set, after a long day on set, you breathe it out. When you step into your space, you're a different person. You know, so like I say, it's a process and you need to be responsible for everything that happens to it. You can't take your work home. You can't take your character home, because now that affects you inly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah.
What advice do you have for young people who are wanting to pursue a career in acting and they think it's easy, and we know that it's not? You guys have the hardest job. I think your job is harder than mine.
Just understand who you are and what you're about and where you come from and what are your values and what you speak for before you even think of acting. Because, like I say, it shifts. Depends on the kind of actor that you are, but it shifts spirits. You know, when you take on a character, you take on a different entity that comes into your space. So if ungazazi when you start taking habits of the character, if you didn't smoke, you start smoking. If you weren't drinking, you start drinking. If you weren't rough, you start being rough. So it's understanding, knowing your core as a person. Then you can go for acting. Then you can go to school and study acting. Have workshops, have that in auditions and auditions. But always, always make sure that you know who you are first.
Do you know who you are?
Yeah, definitely.
Who are you?
Nhlanhla Kunene umdimanda ubamba olunyezi ngathi zingaba zombili zezadla umzukulu kaBhebhene inkunzi esilwane zaphuma ngomnyango zaphuma ngesihlandla sinje ezazana ukhalela omkhulu uMarie Sandumazana uPopayi.
Hi man. All right, tell us about your masterclass. Why is it so important to have these conversations, particularly with the focus on carrying these roles that mirror real social struggles? Tell me more about that.
Hey, come a time where acting is not just acting. Come a time where acting is telling stories and being and having to deal with very provocative issues, right? So having to play the character and then was asked to do a masterclass. It came at a time where I wasn't ready even to do it. We had countless conversations, we had countless phone calls because I felt like I wasn't ready. I haven't done enough for me to have a masterclass. I believe in years of experience to understand something, yabo. But because I was told I had to do it because of how Eric was. So now focusing on that, going back to the responsibility also, it's understanding where we are and what we're doing and what is art now. You know, so the responsibility of now portraying a character comes with you going deeper and researching the character and carrying these conversations within the subtext and the text of what you're going to do on screen. So if it's abuse, it's abuse. You need to be married to abuse. If it's love, it's love. You need to be married to that and tell it truthfully. Truthfully.
I love that you speak about telling it truthfully, because you've also said that you drew inspiration from your childhood experiences, recalling figures like a gent, Usipo, for instance. And you've also said that you thought Sipo had it all figured out, but he was vulnerable too. How does that resonate with you?
So storytelling is a mirror reflection of reality, right? So we look at people look at me, Nhlanhla, they think he has it all figured out, you know? And when you go deeper and dive into Nhlanhla's story, there's probably things that would shock you. So
like what? I see the pregnant pause. Like what? What would shock me? What don't we know about you?
I think you guys know a lot about me.
I don't think we know anything about you. I think we know a lot about your character.
Yeah. I'm into security.
Okay.
Is that a shocker?
No. What kind of security? Emotional, financial?
Security.
Physical?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Tell us more about the character or what's next coming up for you. What can we expect?
Right now, uNkulunkulu waziyo. You know, uNkulunkulu waziyo, because sometimes we go into this industry and we think, yo, after that job, I'm going to pick more work. No. uNkulunkulu sets a tone and a pace for you. Yabo. So right now I'm just going with the flow, doing all these side hustles and doing all these other things and hoping for the best in terms of storytelling and acting, but hoping also it can be a character that would also resonate with me and other people. Because one thing about this industry that one always prays for is to tell a story or be part of a story that will have people resonating with it. There's really no point in being excited to be in a show and the character isn't what people would resonate with. It's important placing yourself and navigating yourself in the arc of a story like that, where a simple security guard understands you, you know, a simple cleaner understands you, because that's your audience, the South Africa. You know what I mean?
I love that. It resonates with me because that's what we do here, even at Newzroom Afrika. If my grandmother in Soweto doesn't understand what we're doing, then what are we doing?
Why?
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
wish you all of the best.
Ngiyabonga, Nkosi.